Thank all of you for being here, for your great support, for your enthusiasm, and it's just nice to be in a Hall of Fame like this. I got back from Rome last night. There almost 3 weeks. The first duty I had was to attend an ordination of a former pupil of mine who is the new ambassador to Ireland, and that was on January 6th. And I came out of the St. Peter's Basilica because the Pope was going up to the window to give his normal address on a Sunday or a holiday, and January 6th, the Feast of the Epiphany, was a Friday, and so he gave his address, and then he wound up by saying, happy to announce that there will be a consistory of cardinals on February 18th. And he went through a list of 22 names, and my name was number 8. It was exciting, quite something to be there, visit the friends. Well, I just wish I could have been here, but now I am, and I'm grateful to share the joy with you. And I go to Haiti tonight. I leave here for New York and fly out early in the morning to Haiti, and then be back on Monday, and hope to be on hand as often as possible. I'll go the 13th to Rome to prepare for the 18th and 19th, and come back that first week in Lent. And then I'm around until my successor is named and installed, and no, I do not know who he is. Nor do I know when it's going to happen. I know it will happen. And I have a hunch, my instinct is that it's been in Rome, or at least been out there for, what, October, November, December, January, almost 5 months. And it was going to be on the fast track, but in Rome, that's a pretty fast track still. They take their time, and they are very thorough in going through lists such as this, because of Baltimore being the archdiocese that it always has been, and that it still is. So I would hope that within the next 2 to 3 weeks, someone will be named. And if that's the case, I would think there could be an installation sometime in the middle of March. That's all I know, honestly. And I kept probing over there, but they know what they're doing. There's no way to get any information, any hints out of them. While there, besides attending that ordination, I was happy to take part in the Ad Limina visit. And every 5 years or so, every bishop has to go to Rome to renew his fidelity to the church at the tombs of St. Peter and St. Paul, and to meet with the Pope's cabinet, or dicasteries. We send a rather complete 200-page review of our activities since the last visit, which was really 7 years ago. And we meet with each of the heads of the department to discuss that, and that came out very well. They're very pleased with the progress we've made, with the decisions we've made, with our plans for the future. Met with the Holy Father for about an hour with the other bishops of our region. Had a good chance, our seminarians had a chance to meet the Holy Father and have a picture taken with him. This debate was, what do they call somebody when he's named a cardinal but is not a cardinal? And you know, it's Catholic trivia, I guess, but you call him Archbishop and Your Excellency, or you say Cardinal and Your Eminence. And when I walked in, I was the first to walk in with the other bishops to introduce them to the Holy Father, and he said, "Congratulations, Your Eminence." So that was a sign, I guess, that's what the protocol in Rome is, at least. But titles are very important in many respects, but we know beyond titles goes the work of the Church. And I'm so pleased that I can share this while I'm still here serving the Church in Baltimore, and share it with the wider Church and the wider community, but especially with this particular community, because you've been really my family. And I'm grateful. Is Charlie Hebler here? No. Typical of the work that we do here. Our deacon, Charlie Hebler, just won the highest award, the Boy Scouts grant on a council level. And it's called the Silver Beaver Award. But Charlie's not here. He's probably out working with the western part of the Archdiocese, or doing some other good work. But it's a very generous community, very self-sacrificing. We've done an awful lot this 4 years, and I can assure you that what we have started will be carried through. There's nothing that we are doing now in terms of our parish planning, our works of evangelization. There's nothing that any incoming archbishop will not be delighted with. We are making no decisions, but we're getting facts together. And that is, I think, the biggest favor we can do for an incoming archbishop. And so just keep your eye on the job and keep going forward, because great progress is being made, and it will come as a great gift to the incoming archbishop when he does arrive. Go to Haiti, as I mentioned, tomorrow till Monday. There's a school there that our archdiocese will be responsible for, a high school, the gift of a donor here in our archdiocese, and it's the James Stein College. And this local Catholic, James Stein, donated $1 million to put that up. We can be very grateful for that we've had a hand in that. And in fact, we've given almost $1 million over the years, especially since the tragedy down there. I think we raised over $700,000 and done all kinds of other things through our Propagation of the Faith office, Deacon Mortel. So I'll be going there just to look at the ruins. I haven't been there yet, but the main reason will be to dedicate that high school. It's called a college, but that's the term they use. There'll be 80 scholarships awarded each year through the goodwill of Sam Chairs, another archdiocesan benefactor. And so I will certainly bring your greetings, and I'm representing you and this archdiocese in my trip there. Other than that, I'm not sure if there's too much else to say. I know a lot is going on in the political world. We're going to be strong in upholding the institution of marriage as a bond between one man and one woman, open to life. It's been not only our teaching, but it's been at the core of our Western culture for as long as anybody can remember. And to think that a fiat of a legislature can turn that over without damage being done is naive and highly political. And so we will do everything we can on our own in conjunction with other religious groups. Our African American community, I think, is very strong on this issue, as we are. And I think to some degree they're a little concerned to call this a matter of discrimination. Racial discrimination is discrimination because of pigment of the skin, and it can't be tolerated. But marriage goes far deeper than the pigment of the skin. It goes to the very roots of our culture, and we are in it for keeps. And I think in 30 areas of the country, 30 states where legislatures have passed this, the people's vote has voided it, has knocked it down. And we have every reason to believe that we have a strong grassroots coalition here that will uphold the sanctity of marriage and the traditional teaching and long-term practice of marriage between man and a woman. Many other issues, I'm sure. Anything further that I should have included? Anybody? Okay, take any questions. There'd be some.
I guess I would just ask, your time here isn't over, but what will you remember most about your time in Baltimore?
It's been a very high point of my priesthood. I love the military, and I still do. 10 years there made a deep impression on me. But a territorial diocese like this, an archdiocese with its history, I remember the announcement that was made when I came in, how enthused everybody was, not because the name was O'Brien, but because there's a great respect for the Catholic presence here in Baltimore and this Baltimore area. You just look around at the institutions that are here, and we keep going. Thanks to our religious, thanks to the generosity of our people, and our schools, our hospitals, our caring institutions. We're not Catholic in those institutions anymore, but we're just as deeply committed today as we were 50 years ago when they were all very Catholic. And I'm sure that's something the incoming Archbishop was going to relish and appreciate as well. So I appreciated the opportunity to join with some very fine people. Our priests are just out of this world, and and what they've done with me, and I couldn't have done it without our priests, without our staff here at the Catholic Center. I didn't take pleasure in the school consolidation. I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it, and I have no regrets in doing it. I just wish the circumstances were different, and I'm grateful we didn't have to have more consolidations than we did. There were some strong recommendations to that end. I don't think we will have to go any further, because I think we're forming a very good foundation. I think our Blue Ribbon Committee has been marvelous in what they have presented us as a road to the future. And I think because of that, and because of the planning that has gone into our schools, and because of the leadership in our school system, Dr. Edmondson, I'm very grateful that I was here at the time I was in order to carry that out. I'm a little, I didn't want to leave here, but one reason I wanted to see something through is our parish redefinitions, our realignment of our parishes. We have the same parishes and the same staffing virtually today as we did 50 years ago, and the scene has changed tremendously. And out of deference to future generations, if we're going to keep strong parish life, vibrant parish life, we have to make sure that we're not struggling along with half churches filled and wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. So something has to be done. We have a very good plan in place, and I think the new Archbishop will be happy to see it, to see how far we've come in presenting him with whatever options will be available to him. I'm trying to answer your question, but yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Good.
As your successor comes in, what other challenges and what other issues and problems do you think are going to be part of the church is going to have to face here in the Baltimore area, and that the successor is going to have to deal with?
One of my disappointments is that we have not attracted more vocations, especially to the priesthood. We're working with religious communities, with women's communities to develop vocations to the sisterhood, but without priests we just don't have the Eucharist, and the Eucharist is what makes the church. And so the future numbers, retirements and so forth over the next 20 years are not rosy. And I was hoping that by now we'd have more than the 28 seminarians that we do have. It's better than it was, but I do think there's a generosity out there that we're not tapping. And I'm not willing to say, because I've seen it certainly in the military, and I've seen it here, our young people are very generous if given the challenge and shown encouragement in accepting that challenge. And I would just hope that our new Archbishop is more effective in bringing that about, and that he will raise the consciousness of all our people. It starts in the family, continues in the parish, and unless we have those two institutions concerned and desirous and anxious to do something, I'm just amazed that sometimes I hear of parish council meetings or area council meetings, and all we talk about is the negatives. And what are we going to do? How many kids in this parish could have a religious vocation, or vocation to the priesthood or to sisterhood? It's not discussed. Unless it's discussed, we're not going to get them. Unless it's prayed for, we don't deserve them. As the Lord said one thing, pray the harvest master. I asked him one time, look at that, the field out there, it's ready, but we don't have the people to reap the harvest. He said, pray the harvest master. Unless we pray in family in our parishes, we're not going to get vocations, and we don't deserve vocations. And I would hope that the next man will get that message across far better than I have. That's one thing. We have to address our parishes. Our demographics have changed, and we're doing our best to hear everybody and to enlist everybody's interest in parish planning, so that down the line, however it's going to be, I think it's going to be 3 or 4 years probably before a plan is in place, because we do want to hear everyone's input. But we have to keep going forward. I don't want this time, however long it is between now and my successor's installation, I don't want it to be a time of half-stepping or of loss of momentum. And I depend on our vicar bishops and our pastors and on all of you to make sure that that does not take place. That we've made a lot of progress, and there's nothing, as I said, that we've done or will be doing between now and my successor's installation that we'll regret or that he will regret. Okay. Yes?
When you met with the Pope, what did you tell him were the most important things that were going on here in hopes of putting a bug in his ear about the kind of archbishop we're looking for?
I wouldn't say bug in his ear necessarily. I described the region to him. I described our archdiocese and the change that's taking place. I spoke about our schools. I spoke about our efforts at evangelization. This coming October, we'll start a year of faith for the new evangelization. And the new evangelization is addressed to Catholics who are Catholics but maybe aren't working at it too hard. Something like 33% of our Catholics go to church on a Sunday. We find Catholic parents dropping their kids off at religious education on Sunday, going home when the Mass is right next door, and then coming back to pick their kids up. Now, they're Catholic, but there's a spark not there. And I think this new evangelization, it's not just peculiar to Baltimore, to the United States. Western Europe is in far dire straits than we are, but we're not rejoicing in that at all. We should learn from them. And so the Holy Father's designation as this year as a year of re-evangelization, I think it's going to be very profitable. We sat in for an hour with the new, just as we started that Office of Evangelization here, so did the Holy Father. And there's some great plans afoot there, and those plans are being made throughout the world, and they'll be filtered down, because it really depends on each culture to see what the best way is to evangelize. We can't adopt what's going on in Sweden or in Asia as our plan, but the general principles are there, and I think there'll be some very good movement on the part of our Conference of Bishops and each diocese working out with them to make sure that we are making the most of this year of evangelization. So that's what I spoke of mainly, our need, especially in our schools, We invest so much in Catholic education, and it's doing a lot for the individuals. Maybe they'll get good jobs and they'll be successful in a worldly sense, but will they save their souls? Are we preparing them for eternity? And sometimes it seems we're doing less than we should. They have to take religion classes, but schools are not just to give information, it's for formation. Like a seminary, you don't go to seminary just to learn about being a priest. You're going to be changed into the priesthood. And we have to change our young people into active, vibrant, committed Christians. And up to now, I don't think we have emphasized that enough. And that's what I think I said that, Bishop Edmund. So far, you want to say anything? Okay, perfect. Now, it's great to have Bishop Madden, Bishop Brzezinski along with us. We had some good times, too. So, I go to Rome on the 13th of February, as I said, and then we'll be back. Monsignor Parker is over there getting our apartment ready. We have a rather large apartment on Vatican property, and it takes a lot. It's from scratch. We're furnishing it, and he's done pretty well. He'll be back a week from today, and I think we'll have done most of the work that is sparing me an awful lot over there. Anybody from the house here? Any questions? Can't believe this. Any observations? Okay. Well, thank all of you. I think we have a little treat out there, and thank you for providing for that. Maybe we'll ask the Lord to bless the food as we are here. Okay. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we thank you for this moment of renewal and for this opportunity to identify with our Catholic family here. We hope that the work that takes place in this community will have its effect throughout our Catholic community and throughout the communities that make up the Archdiocese, this historic Archdiocese of Baltimore. The food that you give us so generously once more, nourish us for the work you give us through Christ our Lord. Amen. Of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Enjoy. A lot of work has gone into this. There's a whole new format and schedule, And I'm grateful for Chris Gunty and his team and the committee that's made it up. I think we're very proud of the changes, and we're really leading the country in this. Everybody's wondering, how do we get a Catholic press that's more effective? I think we found the key, so thank you.